transformational agenda. But he's been very clever in pursuing these two things together. And so these first 2 years have been devoted with dealing with those foundational issues. You have this insecurity that was there, you have the infrastructure decay, you have the waste management being, you have communities that were neglected. I think he mentioned all of that. I can't be here, repeating that. Those were the challenges. You have the part that our urban, our fiscal environment was just too dirty, unplanned, and the rest of that. So the Urban Regeneration Council had to be set up. So he spent this period doing the foundational, dealing with those foundational challenges. And if you go through all of that 100 footprints, okay, foundational footprints, they have been targeted to dealing with these problems. Now, towards the end of this speech, what are the next steps? Where are we going? The transformational. And for the rest of the 4 years, he did say it is 2 years, it is execution, execution, execution. There's so much that had been laid out in this, in the last 2 years. If you think about the fact that there are 400 roads that have been.
In other words, you're saying there's a huge difference between what is happening now in this administration with the previous administration. That was the question I asked you.
Yes, yes. Yes. The point is that many people say, oh, they come prepared. Okay. But when they start, you see, they were not prepared. Okay. One of the things I've been able to pick from this government, and I'm happy I'm there, the emphasis from day one on thinking things through. And then this issue of execution, execution, execution. How is it that the governor is able to do 247 kilometers of road in 2 years? Whereas government will spend 8 years and end up doing about 80 or thereabout. Okay? And you have 400 kilometers of road going on simultaneously. By the end of next year, we would have done the 160-something that are now ongoing. Okay? So the difference is that he came in. Everything on that manifesto were thought through. Okay. And from day one, remember when he was sworn out, the day he was sworn in, we went in. After he was sworn in, he reappointed me immediately. We started meeting immediately. We saw the security. We had a meeting with the security chiefs. We had a meeting with the PAMSEC. The same day, he put in almost 8 hours of work. The next day, he was at Okpoko. By the way, he's going to Okpoko today to commission, he has transformed Okpoko. I grew up at Onitsha Fege, very close to Okpoko. I knew how that place was. So the difference here, I can tell you, is it's not just making promises, but being faithful to those promises and thinking through the execution or the realization of those promises and where the resources are going to come from. That's the clear difference I can tell you.
All right. Now, there is one specific thing that caught my attention.
Yes.
The day the governor was sworn in,
yes,
he said, we can't keep doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result.
Yes.
Now, in 2 years, I don't know what he's been able to do differently, as he said, to achieve the much he has achieved
he has done
in
so
2
many.
years.
He has done so many.
What particular thing do you think he has done differently to achieve what he's been able to achieve these 2 years?
It will be difficult to just say one small thing.
Okay.
Like I'm saying to you, he uses this word, thinking things through. When you assume any responsibility, if you don't sit down and really think how you are going to approach this thing, you stumble. You'll just be drifting. Okay? So, look at a man with less resources than his predecessors. Okay? So, And he's made these promises, and he said he's unlike the other politicians. He says the things and he will execute them. And therefore, you find that the first thing is to stabilize the finances of the state. Fiscal prudence. If I'm going to do this work, I need resources to do it. Okay? So I need, yesterday he said he has pursued, he's running the most austere government since the creation of this state. And that is true. At least I've been in government now for the greater part of 9 years.
Does it mean? Doesn't mean he's not getting allocation as he should?
No, he's getting allocation, but in real terms, purchasing power. He tried to analyze it. Okay. When you think about the allocation he's getting now, or the allocation previous government got, okay, what he's getting now in purchasing power is about 25% of what his predecessor got. So sometimes when you talk about retail purchasing power, people don't understand
Could that be as a result of inflation?
As a result of inflation, as a result of exchange rate devaluation. But we go to shops to buy things. Okay? 1 kilometer of road under P2B and Obiona cost less than 150 million, 200 million naira to construct. Today, 1 kilometer of road costs a whopping amount of money. So when you think about, you need to understand that he's done the analysis. If he were to be restored to where previous governments were, okay, he should be getting about 51 billion naira a month. He's getting about 20% of that or less a month. So that's what he said. So to be able to do all these things, he's hard to say to every person. Sometimes he uses the phrase, many of us are paying to serve. Okay? So if you were to restore most ministries, we are all struggling with the issue of overheads has lagged behind cost of purchasing power in terms of, you can imagine diesel, what is costing now, and the rest of that. So, but the point I don't want to leave with us saying, so he thinks things through. Where is the resources going to come from? He said if he signs any approval or a certificate for a contractor within 30 days, that should be out. So he will not sign anything unless he sees where the money is coming from. Right. That is a fundamental difference. But I'll tell you execution, because this is one thing I've learned too, sitting in that cabinet.
Okay, I think you hold it. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll talk more on that. You're going to equally let us know some of the challenges he's being faced, because you can't just thrive without challenges.
Yes.
The program is Good Morning Anambra Show. We are looking at 2 years in office of the present administration of Governor Soludo, changing the gear in development with Professor Soludo right here in the studio. We take a short break. Let's bring you the testimonial on Oba Ofemele Ubeno Road construction. We'll be right back.
Yes, heartbeat of the East.
Afam Julia Nezu ni ekwenye abụ onye ugbene dị n'Ọka North. Ụzọ nwanụnụ bụ ụzọ dị njọ n'oge papa anyị na-agụ primary school. Ụzọ nwa bụ ụzọ dị njọ a na-agari aga kachasị ọkụ akwa ọba, mana immediately Soludo batara n'ọrụ wee banye na governorship. Ọsọ atụnyeli agwọ anyị bụ ndị ugbene mgbe niile tọrọ Soludo agwọ. Ya ka nọ nwa tuturu okwekwe na ya ga-alụ ụzọ ọnụnwa mgbe onye n'isi ebe nwa tuturu asị na ọrụ ya bụ ụzọ lunde Christmas aka nwanne nwaanyị natara jeje na-enwe aṅụrị.
By the grace of God, latest December next year, I want to come back here. and drive from the beginning to our family.
So what did you uta? Soludo one bafo. What do Basinta?
After this tunnel, all you have to go now before the Abuja. What you try to what you also, what you try what you want for the Abuja. You can only get with Tanka.
Pambo Okechukwu Oyejaka, Abumoyo both family, lawyer Gill Noga, family. Who's a buyer for Bozo both family for? Now we are before. My sister Soludo Bata, you need to know that. Was I Jola John Joe, Lucien Joike, Cabanana, I guess a mother of both family, no one aboso, if you're back. My Soludo Bell in the city. Why you want also a ban? I tell you, alcohol, yeah, lie also a ban. Soludo, I both family theatre alcohol. Or local lie also a ban. Lobby is a puaka, 24 hours on all. Why no that is here about why I am. Bridge ya na bridge. So na Soludo na ina ekene ya na ochelo mma ya achu ozo. Soludo na olo na alu na obo family na ina ekene ya na ekene sie ike. Se ajide ko oji ma free education o yelo na Anambra State. Na ina ekene ofuma. Na ina wali na ekene no mpa nnekwu ko obu. Wa ya dere ya mma. Oba de elofo echi telefa. Soludo chitelo obo family. Ama chifu na ti ya. Ebe obu na obola ya ya azi ya. Second turn I ya. I can let you know.
We have a lot to testify about Soludo.
Ndị mmadụ ife wee rute kịta na ụzọ adịla mma mana kịta na Soludo abịago wee mee ụzọ anụ ọdụ mma so ekene na-adị Soludo na nke ọlụ ekene dị ya na nke ọlụ na ekene ga-adịkwala ya na nke ọ ka ya alụ n'ilu Soludo atigo mma ana ọ ka ga-achịkwa ọzọ chịkwashịkwa ọzọ ka na-achịkwa gaa n'ilu.
Right, we're back in the studio, and you've seen the testimonial coming from the people of that community. It's not just that any people came in there to testify on their behalf. Now, Prof, I don't know, what do you have to say concerning that testimonial we just watched?
Well, I said I was there physically, and you can see the spontaneous joy of the people. It's real. It is real. So, and this is why it is very important that for any person coming into government, you have, I believe public service is the greatest philanthropy. You have the best opportunity to touch life and transform people's life. And that is what the governor, Professor Soludo, is actually doing, honestly. Like I said, I've been associated with him since November 2019. I've learned a lot from him. I've seen the sincerity of the man. People have all manner of notions about him, but if you come close to him, you understand this man has a passion to ensure that those that are neglected, those that are forgotten, that he keeps saying why he persevered in running for office. Well, because of 3 local governments, or as it were, Obaru, Okan North, Anambra West, that these people had been forgotten. Okay, so he has come in. Every person wanted him to get to Dubai.
And I think
overnight.
that's the passion. The passion you just spoke of was exactly what the wife said. You know, why that the governor is actually passionate about the state, you know, seeing that every individual in Anambra State feel, you know, governance, impact of governance. And he's not, because it seems there is something going on concerning 2025, which made the woman to say what she said, that the husband is not really after 2025, but he's passionate to see that an average Onya Anambra, felt the impact of governance.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about changing the gear in development, apart from road constructions, which you can always see, what other areas in all the sectors of the state economy has the governor impacted, or this administration impacted positively in the last 2 years?
I hope every person, if you watched his presentation, his scorecard yesterday, road is probably, yes, and then Anambra, if you ask them, what are your priorities, road, before they go to the next one. But the governor is developing all sectors at the same time, and then laying the trajectory for the transformation that will come. So yes, I've talked about roads, the 400 kilometers of road that are going on at the same time, 247 kilometers completed, 160 to be completed between now and early next year, indeed sometime this year. So that is there. But I have also given you the program of government in 5 buckets. So if I take the first one, which is security, law and order, I don't want to dwell so much on that, because every person in the state knew how the state was. Okay, the state was besieged. There was that siege, and I keep saying to him sometimes, for me, the enduring achievement in the last 2 years is stabilizing the state. Okay, dealing with issues of non-government, getting the Anambra to begin again to believe in their state, as it were, tackling these insecurity challenges, liberating the 8 local governments that were almost taken over by the hoodlums, the unknown government, although they are known, and the rest of them. Okay, and then beginning a process of transforming the judiciary and the rest of them, ensuring that the dispensation of justice is speedy, ensuring that 30 high courts have solar power so that they can work 24/7 if they want, giving judges the tool they need to work, digitizing the Ministry of Justice so that preparing for prosecution can go very fast. I don't want to dwell so much on that, because that is there for people to see. The anti-tout, the Anambra State anti-touting special squad, the harassment that people used to feel, especially in Onitsha. You can't go there to shop, and that one now is almost a thing of the past. They are Aborusa, and he offered them, come, we'll train you and give you jobs. But those that persisted have been dealt with. About 1,200 of them have been. So restoring that order, reforming the vigilante law, starting up in a kind of 3-tier system. The Central Strike Force, the local government strike force, and the community units. This is why security in Anambra is better than, substantially better than it was when it came in. So that I can pack aside. If you come to the next bucket, which is this economic transformation and infrastructure development, the one we've talked about, road. But if you then go to the economic transformation, all the other buckets of it, you see what is happening in agriculture with the palm and coconut revolution, the rice, we're now activating the irrigation system at IML and the rest of that to ensure that Anambra State continues to be a net exporter of rice. When I say exporter, selling rice to, which Anambra had done very well in the past. Then I was it was quite interesting yesterday learning that some of our endangered species like okwa, okwa again, but now he's procuring the improved variety so that these things don't disappear. Some of us grew up knowing about edoko. It's almost disappearing. So these are some of the things that, things that are native to us. So it's doing very well in agricultural sector. If you take the what is then doing, you see, a lot of these things hang together. What is doing in technology to support some of these things, laying, most people don't realize what is going on in the state when you talk about technology supporting a number of things. Do you know to that Roma, you can go there sometimes where they actually have free Wi-Fi. You can just stay there, log on, and you are doing your thing. The kind of thing that I saw in Europe, okay? Everywhere you go, you log on and you are doing some of the things. The universities that have been set up, especially Bariam, he's putting Wi-Fi there for them and the rest of them. So these things are going on simultaneously, as it were. If you go to the next pillar, next bucket, which is the human capital, the social agenda,
the education.
That's where that one is, okay? Education and health. What is done in education is just too amazing. I remember the night he called the meeting, a few of us at the lodge. We didn't really know, what he had in mind. By the time we left there, free basic education was born, okay? From child early learning, from nursery to just 3, free. Abolish everything. No more payment of this levy there, that levy there. Free of everything, completely free.
All right, can you talk to us about the power sector? Something
Yes.
that he did, trying to ensure that Indian Anambra starts having power.
Yes.
Is it still in the pipeline?
It's
Because
still,
as the Secretary of the State,
it's still very
you should
much
know
in the, it's
and
still
tell us
very
about
much in
that.
the pipeline. The federal government just, if you like, liberalized the power sector by way of saying states, it moved it from the exclusive list to the concurrent list, as it were, so that states can come in, can take if you like, their own destiny into their own hands and start developing their energy or the electricity market. Now, he had reconstituted the power committee when he came in. And just last week, because of his push for this, he then put a steering committee over there. And incidentally, I chaired that steering committee. We've now had about 3 meetings, as it were, to make sure that we knock heads together. People were pushing him to make a statement when we expect power and the rest of it. So he did mention, well, it takes about 3 years but I think we might even crack it before then. Now the state, like you mentioned, has already signed an MOU with EDC to ensure that they're on board for this. We've the state electricity market document is being prepared and is being revised now, looked at by next year a consulting firm that Power Africa had engaged to help us ensure that what we have is the best. We hear, oh, this state has done it or that, but Anambra always insists under Soludo that it must be the best. Now, they can't do this thing without even having an integrated resource planning, knowing the demand. So that document is also being done by the end of this month, because I chaired that meeting last Thursday, and we pushed the consultant that these 2 documents must be ready by the end of this month. After that, then, all the various players, all the institutions you need to begin to, the first power station, where is the gas going to come from? Where is the, so we're, with the governor, this phrase they use is thinking it through. If you don't think things through properly, putting all the necessary building blocks, you get somewhere and and that is why, because we are thinking it through, it will not take 20 years as we, And part of what was there was, where is the gas going to come from?
Okay. Now you've been in government. You're not new.
Yes.
In government,
Yeah.
and you are a Nigerian. We know what politics could be in Nigeria. Now tell us, what are the challenges that this administration has been facing for the past 2 years, and what do you think the governor has done, especially to help him remain focused to do what he's doing?
I think he uses the word, let's keep our eyes on the ball. There is every person that operates in Nigeria, live in Nigeria, and this state in particular, know that there are some challenges that are homegrown. In other words, they are state specifics. But there are some challenges that are nationwide. And you have to be able to live and operate within those two challenges. There is the challenges of resource constraint. He uses the phrase binding resource constraint, that Anambra State economy, if it is 7 or 11 trillion, whatever, that the amount that is in the state hand is less than 1%. You see, when you compute the GDP of a country or the income of a country or a state, it is the money, the household sector is a component, the industry is a component, then the government is a component, then the net export. That's the wake up. The bit that the government controls in Anambra is less than 1% of the total income of the state. And that's why it's moved on to say, you know what, in the immediate and short term, we need to have a model, PPCP, public-private community partnership, because the bulk of the money of the state are in the hands of the individual, who are also reluctant to even pay their fair share of the tax. And that is why he's encouraging communities, people from different communities that have money. Last Christmas, he spent time going to commission roads built by individuals, about 40 kilometers of them, and the rest of them. So there is that binding constraint, okay? And I'll use this opportunity to keep pleading within the Anambra to pay their fair share of taxes. And it makes the statement, every penny, every kobo you give me, I'll show you where I put it, okay? That's one. For me, having lived in Anambra too, and I still believe this, if we as the governed people become more disciplined. Look at last year, he spent more than 400 million naira deselting parts of furniture, opening something to go into Wangina, tidying up Sakamori. People have clogged it up again this year. Okay, so I'm appealing to Ndebani to the cost of governance can fall further substantially if we can become law-abiding and disciplined.
All right, I think you hold it there. We'll talk more on the citizens' partnership with government when we come back. It's Good Morning Anambra show. We'd like to take another short break here. Let's feel the pulse of the masses on the issue at hand. When we return, more coming up on this platform.
Soludo is a governor. He's a governor that's working without any intimidation or any influence of anybody. He's a governor that we vote and is doing the right thing at the right time. If you go inside the town, there is a great development, all the sector. If you go to stadium, there is a great development. If you go all the whole street, he's working. He's doing the right thing at the right time.
I'll give him a pass mark. He has done very well in terms of education. I think he has given free education from primary to secondary school, which is one of the key things to development. Education is key. Then secondly, he has done well in the area of health through health care, and he has improved most of the health system in the state. So I can equally give him pass mark on that. Then in terms of road construction, if you go to Onitsha, Onitsha has won a new look even in Oka here. Most governors couldn't go to Oboko in Obaru. But as I talked to you today, Soludo has done well in those areas. Even in both family.
My name is Mr. Ejike Gwatu.
Okay, so what's your opinion about Governor Soludo's development stride impact in the state since he became governor in the past 2 years?
Soludo, based on what everybody can see, is a wonderful governor. He didn't even just come to work. He came actually to practicalize his workings. He has been known in Nigeria as a very good workaholic, economically and otherwise. So his impact as a governor since he came in has been a wonderful, practical evidence that everybody could see. He's in good in roads. You check on all the kilometers of road he has awarded, all of them completed. 1 U2 scale. Last year, November, Soludo shared like 2 billion naira to all the youths on 1 U2 scale. Soludo has given free education from primary up to JS3. Free antenatal, free delivery. He employed 5,000 workers, up to 400 medical doctors. He's still recruiting like 3,000 teachers again. So Soludo's impact on development is a very wonderful one. And we pray, we are the Anambrarians, because I'm from Oka. What he has done in Oka for the past 30 years, no governor has done it since Anambra State was created. All the dilapidated village like roads, all of them cleared. He did it perfectly well. Where people had not been going in with their cars, Soludo has turned it to like express. And is now about to commission water board for Oka. It's also going to be like 10-story building hotels for Anambra State. So Soludo, as a matter of fact, is just like a blessing to Anambra State. And we pray for God to help him so that even next tenure, his second term, he will just enter smoothly without any opposition or confrontations.
Governor Chukwumasisi Soludo has really done a good job, yes, for the past 2 years. In the aspect of health, I think he's really doing a good job there per se, because the healthcare centers in Anambra State has really improved. Yes, they have really improved. So I really give him all the accolades for what he's doing in the aspect of healthcare. And then for education, I'm really impressed too, because it has been a whole lot. At least when you see students not complaining of not being able to afford school fees and everything, but then the governor has made it easy for them to further their education. He has made it easy for them from primary school to the secondary school to be able to at least have access to free education, to go to school and then be happy to like their other mates. And one other thing Governor Soludo has done that is so striking to me and I really appreciate is in the aspect of employment. Yes, so I can remember a time sometime last year when a friend of mine introduced me to this project, 1 U2 skill, Soludo is here and everything. So like for me, I feel it's a way to curb out the rate of unemployment among the youths of Anambra State, because it's a very beautiful thing. You know, after you learn a skill and then they empower you with equipment pertaining to that particular skill that you learned. So that 1 U2 skill actually helped a lot of people. Governor Chukwumasisi Soludo did a very good job in that aspect, because a lot of people were able to learn skills for free and then still get money and then equipment to start up something. So it's a really beautiful thing that he's so particular about the youth of Anambra State.
Mr. Governor has been doing extremely well. As far as Anambra is concerned, what he made, he has transformed Anambra into a better position within the 2 years. Yesterday, precisely, I went to my hometown of Bofemili, where he commissioned a 26-kilometer road comprising Amansia, Ebenebe, Ubene, or Bofemili Road. The thing that has never happened since the decade, so many decades a year. Other governors came and promised that they would do it, they did not do it. It was Mr. Solution that did it, and did it in a perfect manner. who all witnessed it. So the governor should be given chance to control and to continue to be in the office until after 8 years.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release. Milo!
Thank you so much for being there. It's still Good Morning Anambra, talking 2 years in office of Governor Chukwuma Soludo. And of course, I have in the studio Professor Solo Chukwulobelo, who is this secretary.
What you are going to set up, I guess, I don't think there is any person that got less than 200, but I need to check, but most got above 400,000. And this is grant. It is not money. And then the state also put aside 2.5 billion naira for soft loan to them, which they are going to access through ASPA. Okay. Those that now their businesses are doing well, maybe they need some sort of working capital. And it's very interesting to know that many of them, some of them are now employers of labor. Some are winning contract. So that is unique. And the second batch of that program is now in the process of commencing as well. In addition to this, the state has trained 20,000 youth. I didn't say 2,000, 20,000 youth on coding, digital coding and the rest of them. And 2,000 of them are now going through advanced digital training that ordinarily will cost them about 3.5 million naira to do, okay? But they're going through this training free of charge. 2,000 of, about 20,000 of them have gone through the basic coding thing. Those that are very good at the rest of them, about 2,000 of them, are now going through advanced training, digital training. The cost per person is about 3,500,000. So, and these are people that will come out in the comfort of their homes. They will get jobs in UK, America, India, and the rest of them. So we'll go into mainstream companies and the rest of them, the likes of Facebook and the rest of them. And, so that transformation, that youth agenda is there for everyone to see. Very, very laudable thing. And we'll set up the Solution Innovation District. You know where the present government house is? It's going to go when he goes into the new house. Okay. And that place will be transformed into Silicon Valley. Okay. For young people to come, the iconic building that would showcase it, the construction will start sometime this year. Okay. So the youth of, he says he want that human capital is our greatest asset. He wants to develop this digital tribe and a workforce that is productive at home and exportable abroad. That is the agenda. The youth agenda and the manpower agenda is huge.
Okay, now, I don't know, can we look at the people of Anambra State and beyond and their criticism? I know that people must criticize whatever you do, whether good or bad. There must be criticism. What do you have to tell in the Anambra, we've just seen the first 2 years, and a lot of people are happy with the governor or the administration and what is happening or what is already on ground. At some other point, some people are equally criticizing the government. But like, what's your take, or what do you have to tell people like this?
To be very candid with you, criticism is part of governance, system. And government, when a responsible and responsive government hears about criticism, with this government, it doesn't say these are malcontent. We look at the context of the criticism. Is this something we can learn from there and the rest of them? So these are part and parcel of governance in a democracy. But what can be very, very upsetting and destructive is blatant misrepresentation or misinformation. It's out there in the social media. That kind of criticism, just to score cheap political points. Sooner or later people see through that. So there are criticisms that are constructive. Government will reflect on it. I remember when there was this whole something, people criticized, and the governor called people back again, and we tweak the policy. It's all part and parcel of government getting it right. But if people are just playing politics or opposition politics for the sake of opposing everything, there is a case of the government takes a story of a guy. He was in a meeting sleeping, and then he woke up suddenly. He said, "Yes, I have something." He said, "I oppose." What are you opposing? So at the end of the day, opposition or criticism must be there.
To keep you on your toes.
To keep the government on its toe, and the government will reflect. And sometimes we then give the information so that when people have that information, they can then change. But if it is just writing blatant lies, I can tell them blatant lies, misinformation, disinformation, and you put it there. And we put it out there for people to say, this government has gone, it doesn't help.
All right.
But that doesn't distract this government.
All right. As our time is, fast running, let's quickly take a comment from our Facebook page. Somebody actually joined us on Facebook, and the person is so happy with this administration. He is Cheesy Charles. According to him, he says, "Congratulations to you, my governor. We love you, sir. God will keep blessing and keeping you to Anambra." That's a cheerful heart, writing in on our Facebook page. Now, finally, I don't know what's your take, the last word you have to drop for. Okay, before the last word, 2 years is down. We have the next 2 years before us, Now, where do you see this administration taking Anambra State in the next 2 years?
In the next 2 years, I think at the end of the presentation, the last slide was we're changing gear. And that changing gear is execution, execution, execution. There are so many things that we spent the first part of the government, going through policy, initiative, programs. Commissioners will come to ESCO, make presentation, we comment on them, they go and refine it. There are so many. Anambra will no longer be a departure lodge. It will also be a destination point. All of these things, the roads that are still going on, execution, execution, execution. The water project is there. So this, we've done the policy discussion.
There's something you said earlier while we were talking about the challenges we're having in this administration, which I would want you to stress more on before we leave this place. You talked about citizens of Anambra. Sometimes the government will do something and say that citizens should take ownership of things that are cited in their communities. If actually you make people understand the need for the citizens to come in, knowing that government cannot work in isolation.
This is extremely important. And Kichka, thanks for drawing me back on that. Please, in the Anambra, if government puts any facility in your community, it is intended for the service of every person. Why would somebody go and cut a power cable? What is that? Government will spend money, clean gutters, the silt, the next day, people are putting things on there. We used to have a slogan, a campaign in Nigeria called "War Against Indiscipline." I think we all need to be conscious of it. Ndị na-azụ afịa, onye na-ekpọbala ife, debe n'obele bucket, ime se wunye ife niya, rather than ibule wunye na gutter. Then Oju, you will take it to a receptacle and put it there. It's very, very important that we know that government cannot keep building and people are destroying. protect what government is doing, and also pay your fair share of the tax. So that, and the governor has made this promise, every penny you give me, you put in our hands, I will show you where where it is going. So in the bank, the governor concluded yesterday, Anambra is strong and it will get better.
All right, I would like to thank you so much.
Is strong.
Thank you.
And it will get better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Umunnem.
All right, I would like to appreciate in no small measure the Secretary to the Government of Anambra State, Professor Solo Chukwulobelo, for being here this morning to talk about the 2 years of this administration, of course, changing the gear in development. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it on Good Morning Anambra Show for today. My name is Nonya Nwokoye. Let's do this again tomorrow. It's a bye from here.